Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of SuperCoach Edge BBL edition, and we are on the verge of the season kicking off tonight actually as we record this, and boy are we excited. First and foremost, want to thank you all for tuning in, but it's a big cause for celebration because we have eclipsed the 1K subscriber mark, all thanks to you kind folk for doing so, tuning in, supporting us and subscribing. So as we've promised along the journey, when we hit that mark, we're going to be doing and activating a bit of a giveaway for one lucky subscriber. So keep an ear to the ground and keep an eye out, as we will be releasing some details about that very soon. So if you haven't subscribed to us yet, you can still get in the running. Just subscribe and keep an eye out, because we're going to open it up to everyone, to have a chance to win this giveaway. So again, we can't thank you enough and really do appreciate the support.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
With that, let's no longer pander on. Let's get on with things and jump across to my team. This is, of course, titled Final Team with a question mark, because, again, I don't know if it's going to be the final team at all. So let's jump across, check out my team as it stands at the moment. And for those people that tuned in to the previous team reveal 2.0, there have been a couple of changes, of course, as there always is. And I'll just run through them very quickly for you. So we've had, I'm just cross-checking here, Fraser McGurk has come in for Sam Whiteman, just because of the fact that Whiteman, I think, his role in the Scorchers lineup is now not as solid as what it was looking coming into the season. They've had a few guys return. Agar played the practice match recently, so he's virtually on the cusp of returning on a full-time basis. They signed an international player. I forget his name. I can't pronounce it. Starts with E. He is going to be opening for the Scorchers as well. For Whiteman, I think he's kind of fallen out of favour, to put it bluntly. So he goes out in at the moment, and I say at the moment because it might change again, is Fraser McGurk. And he has kind of had the reverse in fortunes, where he has kind of been going up the order. I mean, Quinton de Kock, as you would have heard in recent days, if not weeks, since our previous video, that he's not going to be available for the first two games of the double game round in round one for the Renegades. So he was automatically going to be one of the openers alongside Joe Clark. He goes out, and off the back of that, Fraser McGurk elevates up in the order and could potentially bat as high as 3. So we'll wait to see how things land there, but very favourable. 62.5k, he's the exact same price point as Whiteman, so nothing gained, nothing lost there. But in terms of what we can gain is a potentially a better cash cow. So he comes in for the time being. Hopefully we stick with him, and it could be going into the season with him. Outside of him, we have Menenti coming in, and he's someone that I'm very 50-50 on. He, in all likelihood, could change. I've only just brought him in after tinkering with my side, and he comes in at the expense of Sanger. And Sanger's been in my team all season, all preseason. Really do like the look of Sanger. Played in the internationally for the Aussies, played most recently against India and picked up a wicket or two, and does look as though he's back in full fitness, but also in some half-decent form as well. And at his price point, Sanger at 83k, he's going to go up in price. So really it comes down to who I think is going to offer the most value in terms of points, but also as a cash cow first and foremost. The one thing with Menenti is the fact that over the first 2 rounds of the season, the Strikers have a single and then a double, so they got 3 games in the first 2 rounds, comparing it to the Thunder, who only have single games across the first 2 rounds. So it's 3 games versus 2. My thinking here is potentially starting with Menenti, meaning I save on a trade in not having to use one to bring him in for the Strikers double in round 2, and then potentially flipping him after or heading into round 3 when the Strikers go on their bye. And hopefully by that stage, he's made a little bit more cash than Sanger to really justify. But again, it just means that I'm saving a trade. But down the line, I'm going to have to bring in Sanger anyway for the Thunder's double in round 4. So it's kind of much of a muchness, I think. Whether or not I start with either guy, I'm going to have to try and bring them in. The one thing with Manenti that I've been looking into that I'm not too crash hot on is the fact that Dizzy Gillespie, their coach, has come out and said that in terms of their spinning options, he named both Shorts, Darcy Short and Matt Short, Cameron Boyce and Manenti as all potential options. So that doesn't really fill me with too much confidence in the fact that he is going to be the set and forget spin option for the strikers. So off the back of that, you know what? I'm going to change it back here as we're recording this. So yeah, again, it's not really going to change too much between these two guys. I think Sanger, his break even, I think is very similar to Manenti, but he's going to be a first 11 player. He's their number one spin option, 10 via. Break even of 27. So yeah, for me, he is someone that I am keen on starting. So let's do it. Let's lock and load him. I've been toing and froing, and we'll stick with that for the time being. So reverse that. That was a potential change, but again, it may change. Aside from both of those boys, Sanger and Whiteman and Fraser McGurk, the only other change was, of course, Abbott. Abbott goes out of my side for Jai Richardson. So I was a little bit... Jai Richardson is one of my favourite players overall, but especially in the BBL. He is so lethal, probably one of the more lethal pace bowlers. Just his line length, his accuracy is just absolutely immaculate. And one of the, as I said, the most deadly pace bowlers in the game. And I think on a double for the Scorchers, they've come out and they've said that he's fully fit. He's played a couple of, I think, game or two leading in, and looks as though at sort of domestic level, and he's actually looked pretty good. So I'm willing to back him in on a double, and then potentially flip him to Matt Short heading into the Strikers double in round 2. So really just banking on him being an absolute powerhouse. He was someone that I'm kind of... It was either switching Abbott to Jai Richardson or to Nisa. Nisa pulled out of the Prime Minister's 11. A caveat to that is my thinking is I think Cricket Australia want to sort of preserve him. Looking at those that were selected in the Prime Minister's 11, he is right up there in terms of quality players. So for him to really come out does make me question as whether or not he's just kind of hit a brick wall, needs a bit of a break, and yeah, he's not having to bowl countless overs for a Prime Minister's 11 game compared to a BBL game. But even so, 3 games in, 5 days or they're about 6 days for the Heat. I do question, again, still about Nisa playing all 3 games. I still think that he is going to be rested and rotated potentially with Johnson of the Heat. So he'll play 2 games. So for me, it's weighing up Richardson with Nisa, and the fact that, the fact that the Heat have the bye before the Scorchers, a week prior to the Scorchers. I think I'd prefer to have a Jai Richardson, but even then, as I said, probably will use him to flip to Matt Short. And yeah, comparing both of those 2 guys on a double, potentially, if Nisa only plays at 2, I would back in Jai Richardson scoring more often than not than Nisa. So it's kind of just weighing up much of a muchness there. Again, it may flip. Hopefully, for my sake, it doesn't. But yeah, backing in Richardson there. And that high price point is an easy step across to Matt Short. So yeah, happy to back that in. But yeah, I did have Swepson in my team previous. But yeah, I don't think he is the preferred option, with Kuhnemann being that preferred spin option for the Heat. So that's my team as it stands at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't change much. The only thing that might change is I'm still, again, considering Nisa. Even though he's named in the squad heading into the first game, I think there's potential for him, at least first up, to have a little bit of a break. And if he doesn't, then I'm expecting him to have a rest for the second game for the Heat. But yeah, even if he plays the first game, I'll try and squeeze him in. The only way I can try and do it is if I make a downgrade sacrifice somewhere and upgrade, say, Richardson to Nisa. Speaking of Richardson as well, he's probably the other guy that I'm thinking of. I'm not too sure on. I love Richo, and the fact that he's a death bowler has that perfect role for BBL SuperCoach. Easy points. He did suffer a bit of a glute strain playing for the Aussies. Was only minor and was in line to play the last 2 games, but didn't. So he flew back early. Bowler reports he is fit to play for the Renegades, but even still, as we saw last year, he was rotated out of the side to give him a little bit of a rest late in the season. And that's the one thing I'm worried about, especially with the likes of Siddle waiting in the wings. So if I was starting Richardson, I'd be a little bit worried for the double game. I mean, it is start of the season, so it'd kind of be strange for them to rotate so early, but because he does have that glute strain, they might want to manage him after the first game. So I'm kind of worried about that. If that's the case, I might try and change him to Clark in the batsman's category and stick with another Renegade. The fact here, you'll see with just speaking to the layout of my team, I've tried to sort of have 3 players across most of the teams that have a double coming up. So you'll notice there, McGurk, Zampa, Richo, 3 Renegades, Stoinis and Maxwell, only 2 for the Stars because they do have a bye in round 2. Sanger, he's the only Thunder because Thunder only have their double coming up in round 4, so I don't have to go really hard on them. The Scorchers, 3 players there, as you can see, on the double first up. Sixers, I do like both of these boys here. Curran as a constant. The Sixers, they don't have a double across their season at all, strangely enough, but they actually don't have a bye either. So I really like Curran, like his role, his ability as an all-rounder, can really smash a ball and could potentially play that death over type role for easy wickets. And then Philippe as well. You could potentially fade Philippe if you wanted to, just because of the fact that he's in 51% of sides when I last checked, and use him as a bit of an antipod. But at that price point and the fact that historically he's actually been one of the more reliable batsman wicket keepers in the past, I do like the prospect of starting with him. But yeah, as you can see there, 2 sixes at least means that as I'm trading out those players that are on buys, 2 players that have doubles and whatnot, or I'm preparing to bring in who have a double coming up in weeks to follow, it allows me to have the 2 constants in Philippe and Curran regardless. So I'm not sort of having to fill holes and use trades to trade in for the fact that I may have too many players on the buy, for example. So as you can see there, it's kind of the spread across the board. And my strategy across the rest of the season as well is I'm trying to, for every single double, it mightn't work for those rounds where there's multiple doubles, but at least I'm trying to go into that round with 4 players on a double. So that's kind of the way that I'm spreading it. The one thing that I learned from Andrew Langley, who's the previous 2 consecutive winner of the BBL SuperCoach, is an absolute guru, knows his stuff, is try not to overload yourself on specific double games, especially if you have, multiple double game players playing off against other players in your team that are in that opposing team, if that makes sense. So it kind of cancels itself out. So say, for example, for round 3, which it doesn't happen, but say if the Renegades were playing the Stars and both of those teams are on doubles, of course, and you're loading your team up with Renegades and Stars players, it's kind of like negating themselves. You're going to have Renegades players that smash it against the Stars if the Renegades absolutely kill the Stars, or vice versa. So you want to kind of spread the load. And that's sort of the strategy that I'm going into this season with, very, very loosely, of course, because things always change. And I feel as though BBL SuperCoach is always at flux because of the amount of changes, guys being rested, and so on and so forth, with a number of buys and doubles and everything else. So it's absolute chaos. But speaking back to the point about Richo, Clark is definitely one that I'm thinking about bringing in. Again, similar price point, again, as a Renegades player. Aside from Richo, I think Fraser McGurk is maybe I sort of go a little bit... who was I thinking of bringing in? I think it was potentially, if I stick with Sanger, I could switch Connolly into McGurk's spot and then trade McGurk to Manenti. I'll probably wait and see to check if Manenti is actually named for the first game for the Strikers. Again, as I said, he's kind of been thrown up in the air along with the two short guys, Matt Short and Darcy Short as spin options, as well as Cameron Boyce. So I'm a little bit worried about that. And even so, all I need is I just need Manenti to play, in round one for their single and then the double in round two. But who knows what Dizzy Gillespie is going to be doing and if he's going to be rotating their bowling spin attack. But yeah, that's kind of my mindset there. Going through Billings, I think he's a given. He's getting the gloves without Pearson there. And he's going to play, I think, all 3 games in round one. Spoke about McDermott ad nauseum. He is the cash cow to have, and I think he's a better option, as I said, with Whiteman, with his prospects, and has actually been in half-decent form. McDermott, Tom Curran spoke to him in his role. Munro, he is, in terms of, I guess, sidetracking a bit, my straight-out captain, I think, at this stage. I think, again, he's going to play all 3 games. He's been one of the more reliable, knock on wood, straight out batsman historically, and is an absolute power hitter. Love what he can produce. So I think he might be my straight out captaincy option. Spoke enough about Maxi, set and forget. Walter, I've got him. Walter, sorry. He's the other guy that I brought into my team. He's just sitting there in front of my face. So yeah, got rid of Swepson and brought in Walter, who had some spare cash for. And I think Walter is, I don't really know much about him, but from what I've learnt is he's a genuine all-rounder and can, he may potentially bowl, 2, 3, if not 4 overs, hoping for the latter, of course, but just another string to the bow. And at that price point, could prove nice value. Spoke about Philippe there in terms of his value as a potential playing cash cow. Darcy Short, everyone should have him. Again, cash cow, get him in your bench in preparation for the Strikers double in round 2. McGurk, again, it might change, who knows, but I do like having an extra Renegades player on the bench, considering that the Renegades play 5 games in the first 3 rounds. Spoke about Richardson, he's an absolute gun. I'll flip him to Matt Short, which is the plan at this stage, heading into round 2. Aaron Hardy, I really do like him. A little bit weary about him, maybe not bowling his full allotment of overs, just because the likes of Matt Kelly reportedly back to fitness, so he may come in to the Scorchers lineup. And then they've got Berendorf, they've got Ty, obviously Richardson, and the like. So he may only bowl 2, 3 overs maybe, but I think what he can produce with the bat as well, he may come in as an opener or at least third rung for the Scorchers with the bat. So I don't mind him still. Spoke about Richo, 50-50, still got to weigh that up. Zampa, he spoke about him as well. He should be in a majority of teams, I think, as well. I do like the thinking, though, I've seen other people mention that just because he's been in such good form, opposing teams may opt to play defensive against him, which may then allow themselves to, open themselves up against the likes of another spinner, say, in Majib. And Majib might be in line for some easy wickets where, they opt to sort of play a bit more attacking against Majib and defensive against Zampa. And Zampa will still get, you'd think, if they're being defensive, he'll get those dot ball points. But the one thing with him is you obviously want wickets end of the day. But I think he can produce on his day, and he's too good not to nab a wicket or 2 here or there. So willing to back him in. Stoinis as well. I'm hoping that he actually bowls early on. I think he might, because the likes of Ralph, who's unavailable for the first game for the Stars, and the like, mean that Stoinis, there's a bit of a vacancy there for the bowling attack, and I think Stoinis might come in at least and bowl 2 overs. Hopefully he can get a bit of a sneaky wicket or 2. And then with the bat, I'm hearing reports he may sort of bat middle order, but as we know, he's such a power hitter, he can be pushed up the order if need be. Hopefully that's the case, but willing to back him in and at least start with 2 Melbourne Stars players in anticipation for their double that's coming up in round 3, and obviously starting on a double as well. What do you have to lose? Spoke about Sanger as well, 50-50, Manenti, Sanger, who knows, and Cooper Connolly as well. he is someone that I spoke about as well. I don't know if he's going to... He played more recently in their practice game, got 2 wickets and ended up hitting something ridiculous. It was like 90 runs off 50 or 60 balls or something. So the coach has come out, Voges, and said that he's going to have more responsibility heading into this season, but it just comes down to what his role will unfold as. So yeah, there's no real certainty there. And again, spoke enough about their bowling attack and their quality. The Scorchers may mean that he only bowls, relief overs, 2 overs maximum type thing. But if you can nab a wicket, that would be handy as well. But that's part of the reason I've got him on the bench there. Probably silly to do. But of course, I've got McGurk there as well, who's on a double first up. But yeah, I just think with Cooper, he's going to be a really nice cash cow and someone that you want to have generating cash, because end of the day, a lot of people lose sight of this. You still need to have people generating cash. And you've got to look at Andrew Langley as well, who's obviously knows his stuff. He's won this twice, and he's talking about increasing your team value. So you've got to keep that in mind as well, as obviously trying to bring in as many double game players and quality double game players, and then quality players as much as you can. So that's pretty much my team, a speed run version, because I am conscious of putting it out ASAP so you kind folk can check out my team as it stands. But of course, I mightn't be online for the remainder of the afternoon heading into tonight's game. But if you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter, which is where we'll see your questions. Of course, get notifications for. Hit us up, SuperCoach Edge on Twitter. And yeah, we'll do our very best to answer any questions that you may have. For those people who don't follow us, it's at SuperCoach_Edge. So type that into Twitter or X and hit us up with any questions that you may have. But of course, if you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Before I sign off though, of course, if you haven't yet joined our group, make sure you do so. It is 118814. Might try and work out a bit of a prize. We'll see how we go with the number of people that have joined. There's a few people that have joined thus far. 80 people. Let's get the number up there, have a bit of fun, and face off against each other for the ultimate glory, as we say. So with that is the end of this recap and I guess final team as it is and as it stands. As you can see there might be a change here or there, but hopefully it sticks around the same. And yeah, as I said, we've got to plan, and plan we have. But anyway, ladies and gents, that is it for this, I guess, last check-in before the season opener. Really do appreciate, again, all of you tuning in. The love that you've shown us across the preseason. We can't thank you enough. And hitting the 1K subscriber mark has absolutely blown us away. So thank you. And that continues to grow as well. Like, check in, every few hours, and it's just gone up another subscriber. So we really are chuffed at the support that you guys and girls are showing us. So thank you so much again. And of course, as we mentioned, keep an eye out for the details to follow about the giveaway that we'll be doing to commemorate and celebrate the 1K subscriber milestone. So with that, ladies and gents, I wish you all the very best heading into this year's BBL season for SuperCoach. And we'll see you and check in, hopefully coming out of round one. But it's such a tight season that we'll try and find a bit of a break to check in and do maybe a quick video. It might be quick videos from here on out, which is always a good thing. So until then, we'll see you. Same time, same place. We'll catch you then. Cheers.